you're doing an activity, but there is one high risk that is overlooked: roofing. Between me and you, if there's any activity I fear, it is roofing, because having a proper fall protection for roofing is one of the most challenging things I've seen in my career, and considering our setup. Yeah. But you're going to look at all other risks. You look at people moving alongside, people walking along the scaffolds. You can easily arrange the scaffold, but establishing horizontal lifelines where people can connect and do the roofing. First of all, does the guy who I don't know why it's called a mansion, the guy who elects, let's say the top of the building, who elects iron sheets or the roofing, those guys are not used to fall protection. Between me and you, I've seen it. I don't know how they live in their lives. The guy can walk on one timber from the end of a 20-meter building or 40-meter building to the other with no connection. But I don't think this should be a way we go, because many, if you ask them, and I think this is where as safety practitioners, we need to listen, agree or disagree. You're going to ask him and he tells you, my friend, me in my career, I've lost around 5 friends. They've fallen and died. So when you start such discussions, you're basically doing what we'll call historical risk assessment. You're trying to know how often has this happened? Does the person you're speaking to understand that it is risky? And in the conversation, the guy tells you, anyway, what protection do we have? Okay, you suggest. And I think as health and safety professionals, it's high time we learn to provide solutions than blaming that this is risky. You need to go back and do your research. You can't present yourself on a site and all you're doing is blaming this is risky. You can't do ABC. You need to start either speaking with civil engineers, look at safety engineers, someone who can establish a proper fall protection system that is custom to the risk. Between me and you, I've seen where people are given safety harnesses to protect them from falling from 4 meters. Yeah. If you calculate the fall clearance, you are just pretending. Are you providing it as a restraint for a person not to go to the edge, or you are providing it to know that you have to wear a safety harness and you have to hook up? So, in this view, what I'm trying to bring about is the standard way to do risk assessment is not about one model. It's not about, hey, yeah, you are making noise. Yeah. So from your question, there may be no sole or single system to do risk assessment, but the most important thing is understand the activities and establish the high risks. But the higher risks may be contributed by the minor risk, maybe we foresee. I gave you an example. You may think of all the structural requirements of building a building. And I'll give you the example I gave you. You have a 20-floor building and you have a guy who is going to roof. So between me and you, who is more exposed? The other guys who are doing the masonry works, you have all your scaffoldings well set up. But on the roofing guy, you have no arrangement for that guy to be able to hook on. So if I would say you need to look from the small risks, as we'd call them, up to the major risks you've established, because the so-called small risk may be a risk you've forgotten, maybe something you've not looked up to, and meaning you should be systematical. You should put up a system of weighing what you call a high risk and also put in those moderate, meaning you have to put all your risks up and establish what's low, what's medium, what's high. But you can't only look at high risk only, because the low risks usually contribute to the big risk at the top. Yeah, that's how I could put it in this context.